How is everybody doing? It is Paul from Magpie 24/7, and yes, the light may be failing me at the moment, so apologies about the lighting, but you know, I'm hard at graft here. But certainly one thing that didn't fail us yesterday was Newcastle United, because for the second game in a row, which isn't something that you get to say very often under the tutelage of Steve Bruce, Newcastle United won 2-1 yesterday against West Brom at St James's Park. Goals on the day from Miguel Miron, peaking after a Steve Bruce great performance of about 19 seconds, followed by a goal later on in the game from super sub Dwight Gale, making his first start this season after he had that obviously injury at Crewe, was it? I seem to remember. Yeah, it was much needed. I said before the game, before this nice little run of fixtures against the newly promoted teams from last season, that Newcastle had to be looking at 6 points out of 9, because goodness me, the fixtures that we've got after Christmas starting, you know, oh, I don't even want to go that far down, but you know, starting with the likes of, we've got Liverpool's and Arsenal's and Leicester's, etc. The so-called self-appointed Big Six, the elite teams. Yeah, I mean, watching that's going to be like walking in on your mum and dad at it. It's not going to be pleasant viewing at all. So, you know, at the moment for Newcastle, you've got to live in the moment, because after you've finished your Christmas turkey, you're going to be looking through your tips of your fingers, watching the games that are coming up. So yeah, at the moment with Steve Bruce in charge, I'm still very much in the Steve Bruce out camp. But you know, you've got to give him credit for yesterday, because I think he helped the situation. He helped Newcastle get the points, and that's not something you can say all the time when you're talking about Steve Bruce. I'll get into that in a bit, but yeah, Newcastle, I said we needed 6 points. We've got 3 of them in the bag already, and that takes a little bit of pressure off in what is going to be a difficult next game against Leeds away at Ellen Road. So yeah, we started off yesterday in the right frame of mind. We weren't sitting back, we weren't passing it back to Carl Darlow for a couple of touches, knocking it around our makeshift defence. We actually started with a little bit of purpose, and a little bit like we were annoyed, a bit of fly in the ointment. You know, we attacked, we went for it a little bit, and we have been screaming out for that for goodness knows how bloody long. But it was nice to see Wilson, Joe Linton, Miggy, Matt Ritchie, everybody beavering away at the West Brom team, getting about them, knowing that if Newcastle were to get the all-important first goal, then psychologically it would be like a lightning rod up Slaven Bilic's arse, and that we did. 19 seconds or so, our quickest Premier League goal since Alan Shearer showed up a certain Manchester City keeper in what, 10 seconds was it? So yeah, we go about. I mean, Richie, the Radji bastard he is, like, he is so Radji, it's unbelievable. He's off celebrating the fucking goal before Miggy's even took the shot. He knows what's going to happen. Great cross in. The pass, credit to Joe Linton, another assist. Beautiful pass, weighted in. He's playing with a little bit of confidence, which he hasn't done previously. He crosses it for Miggy. Miggy smashes it in, and you're like, whoa! Literally, my ass cheeks barely touch the couch, and I'm jumping up and down. I'm running around like a right divvy around the room. I'm loving it, and I'm sitting there thinking I want Newcastle to kick on, and we did all right. We did all right for 20 minutes or so. It wasn't champagne football, it wasn't sexy football, but it was effective football. West Brom was struggling, and I was saying to everybody who'd listen in the house, we've got to make hay while the sun is shining. We need to get a second goal. We need to follow it up with maybe a third goal and kill this bloody game off, because I was worried about the whole training thing and the fatigue thing, and we didn't get the second goal straight away. And sort of after half an hour, it just looked as if, you know, yeah, it looked as if, because we hadn't trained, you know, for a large period, and the players seemed to be fatiguing. I thought defensively though, for that first half, we were really quite solid. I was impressed, certainly by our two centre-backs. Kieran Clark, you've got to take your hat off to the lad. Ultimate pro, ultimate professional, looked fantastic. And beside him, Isaac Adrian had one of his best games for Newcastle. It was literally like, no matter what you're going to do, I'm going to have the answer for it. So he was literally bitching them off left, right and centre. And yeah, he was loving it all day long. Bearing in mind he'd been in his sick bed with COVID for 10 days. Then he'd got his 2 clear tests, got in, day 2's training, bam, there you go. Cool as you like, cool as a cucumber at the heart of the defence. He was fantastic. Newcastle survived the last 10 minutes, and I'm sitting there thinking, Brucey, whatever you do, please do not fuck this up, because they are there for the taking. You know, the difference in quality is there for everybody to see. Even with our injuries and players missing, no ASM yesterday, no Lascelles, no Fernandez, Manquillo, Gillespie, I could go on and on and on. So we got through to half time and thinking, Bruce, you don't fuck it up. I know he's down on his coaches at Corona Castle, but I was just praying, and we came out beginning of the second half and we were dog shit. Absolutely fucking dog shit. You know, where we started positively in the first half, they started very positively in the second half, and were looking and probing and pressing, and you thought it's a matter of time. And then, lo and behold, ball over this, you know, from the fullback on the right hand side. Did Kraft all day long. Where the hell was he doing? What was he doing? I don't know. I don't know. I think it was Swedish meatballs or something like that. But didn't have his mind on the fucking game at this point, I'm telling you. So the cross comes in. It's not a fantastic cross, but the cross comes in, and you see Jamal, I nearly said Lascelles, I nearly cocked up like Ian Dowie did on commentary yesterday. But the ball comes in, Lewis, you're thinking, right, deal with it. And it's the one critique you'd have of Jamal Lewis, a left back. The defensive side sometimes lets him down, and it did yesterday. I'm not going to knock the lad, because he was alright, but dillied and dallied. Caught a little bit, not looking behind him, not having that awareness of who's around him, and basically took off his toe. Bang! Thunder cunt! Pascal Darlow, and you're like, you fucking bastards! I thought you were going to piss on my weekend. Gutted. So, you know, straight away you're looking at the bench, you're looking for something from Bruce, because you're sitting there thinking, if you repeat the insaneness of these last 20 minutes, it's going to be one winner and one winner only, and it wasn't going to be Newcastle. But credit to Bruce, he makes the changes. Dwight Gale comes on, makes some changes, some other subs come on. You know, Jacob Murphy also takes up, you know, his role, and what comes next can only be described as pure, unadulterated, X-rated filth of Newcastle. I'm telling you honestly, man, absolute X-rated, over 18 sort of stuff. It was David Beckham in his best. It was very reminiscent of the Kennedy stroke Rondon headed goal against Bournemouth. That was obviously from the left hand side. Key set it up, Kennedy clips it in beautifully, bang, you big beautiful bastard, header against Bournemouth. But this was from the right hand side. Murphy gets it, and the goal is made because the pass is fan-bloody-tastic. It was, you know, as soon as it left, you were like, oh, go! You're screaming at the TV for, you know, at first Wilson, obviously, who had a decent game yesterday, it must be said. I thought Joe Linton did as well yesterday. But no, the man on the spot who gets the header on is actually Dwight Gale, who'd come on. He nearly notched beforehand. Very, very unlucky one cleared off the line. But there was no stopping this one. An absolute pile driver of an attempt. I mean, the West Brom defenders are in good positions. You think you've got them marked. You think you're okay. Just check through, going through a speed trap. And yeah, there's no stopping that. Great header. Fantastic X-rated cross. Bang, back in the net. Lovely sound. And yeah, cue scenes in my living room. Went absolutely off it. Absolutely off it. Like an absolute little girl running around. The Bairns are asking what the hell's going on, but they're running around too. Craziness. Yours truly's living room. Wishing I was inside the stadium, because, you know, it's situations like that you so miss when you're not at St James's Park. That would have been great, the noise that would have been generated in the atmosphere. But alas, but it was a great goal. You're then sort of thinking, can Newcastle see the game out? You could see they hadn't been training for a number of days, the fitness levels, the fatigue. But I'm telling you something, you talk about somebody like a rock at the centre of your defence. He was like I tell you what, Hayden was like the fucking rock off the bastard wrestling. Everything thrown at him, caught it, bang, have that, you bastard. Have this, you bastard. You're not getting in round the back of me. You're not coming over the top. And it was fantastic. We saw Callum Wilson taking the piss up the top end of the park, running the ball into the avenues, into the channels, working everything beautifully, winding down the stoppage time, because when they put up 6 minutes, I nearly shit kittens. I literally was like, where the fuck have you got this from, you Raji bastard? I thought you're determined to not let us have this victory, but Newcastle saw it through. A great 3 points. That's 11 points now away from trouble at the foot of the table. And again, it just helps. It takes the pressure off with regards to anything that's working around in the background with regards to a takeover. The fact that we're looking more and more safe, closer to the European situation, with a game in hand on some, as opposed to the relegation. But still, these are 2 important games coming up next. I'll just touch on them quickly, because I know the lights shite. What can I say, lads and lasses? Mr. No Days Off. This is the problem. But yeah, you know, this is going to take the pressure off Big Style. 2 more tricky games. I think we need at least another 3 points out of them. That'll give us enough points to get through. Well, it'll probably be a bit of a barren spell after that as we play some of the bigger teams and Bruce reverts to type and goes defensive and stuff. I'm celebrating a great victory for the time being, and that's how you've got to be with Bruce's Magpies and at Corona Castle. You've got to just take any small little tidbit of stuff. The big game for me is also this Brentford game coming up. You know how desperate I am to see us do well in that competition. We should be going there for a positive frame of mind, and if we get another win or 2, or a win and a draw, we go there surely you know, confident as you like, strutting away like, you know, you talked the Rock before, a little bit of Ric Flair, a bit of wooing here and there. You've got to go in confident to that game. But yeah, back-to-back victories. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't champagne football, it wasn't sexy football, it wasn't any of that whatsoever, but what it was effective. And you know, the likes of West Brom and co, they'd love to be in our position, but it just goes to show you that step that's from the top of the Championship into the Premier League is there, and is a difficult one. But we've got to be ruthless, because if we can beat or get points against Leeds and get points against Fulham, it keeps them pushed down and it allows us to extend that gap ever so away from them. And that is the name of the game this season. It's not what I want. You know what I want. I want European competition. I would give anything to see Newcastle play European football. I loved those nights previously, historically, so I would love us to get European football. But I'm a realist, and the man in charge, the man who writes the checks, I call him a man, he's an absolute weasel piece of shit, but you know, with Mike Ashley and Lee Charney in charge, the remit is just to stay up, and Bruce is, you know, on target to achieve that target. You know, I totally disagree with the brand of football and this, that and the other, but let's celebrate 3 points. Let's celebrate a couple of cracking little goals. Miggy, he's up and running as well now, and Miggy likes to go on little runs of goals, so who knows, will he notch against Leeds? I don't know. I'd be tempted to have a slight cheeky fiver or something like that on him for down at Ellen Road. If this comes off, mind, I'm going to bring this back and highlight the fact that I said so first. But yeah, he does like to go on little runs, doesn't he, Miggy? So you just don't know. Now he's got one. Brucey said out of the players that are missing, we may have 2 or 3 back for the game at Ellen Road, so that is all good. Hopefully it's defenders. As much as I love ASM, to be that short on defenders is a little bit concerning. And can Hayden go again on Wednesday, given the fact that he's been in his sickbed for 10 days and he played like a beast at the back, he was fantastic. A couple of grumbles here and there. I don't know what Lee Ryder's smoking, but when he's given 7s and 8s out for certain players, the likes of John Joe Shelby, I just look at it and I think you're either smacked off your tits or you need to get the Specsavers, because from my viewpoint, it just seemed like a tree. He's just lost so much mobility, and I don't know. He's lost so much. All he was doing was just one touch all night. And sometimes I just felt he needed to keep hold of the ball and let players get on and get pushed further up and to get in the box and get set. And he's running around, and he's really like he's running through treacle. It really is quite painful to watch it sometimes, which is similar to the lighting on this video. It might become an audio podcast at this fantastic rate. I do apologise, but hard at graft, folks. What can I say? But yeah, I mean, it's only small critiques. Yeah, you know, John Joe came in there, he wasn't fantastic. Sean, he put a couple of good tackles in, some meaty tackles. But I still maintain the lad's a number 10. He's not a central midfielder, and I still believe that it is one of the areas that if I was Newcastle United manager, apart from the fact that I'd be fucking taking Charlie and Ashley's head off, that I think needs addressing really, major league, as well as at fullback. I like Jamal Lewis, but I think he's got work to do on his defensive side of the game. I think he's fantastic going forward. He's going to be a great player for us, but he needs some extra help. Dummett's always injured, so I hope the rumours about Jethro Williams is true. I would love to get Jethro Williams in to give us that experienced player, and somebody that Jamal Lewis can learn an absolute shitload off, to be honest. So yeah, fingers crossed on that one. But yeah, we go again on Wednesday against Leeds. I'd be over the moon with a point. If you offered me a point now, I would snap your hand off. 2 or 3 more players back, and then we go into the Fulham game, and hopefully again we should have more players back, fit and available. And the big bonus from this game, the massive bonus, it has to be the return of Dwight Gale. And you saw at the end of last season, you know, it can be a handful. You know, you'll pinpoint the Manchester City game where you missed the chance in the cup. But, you know, against bottom-end Premier League teams or in the Championship, he is a fantastic player. He knows where the goal is at the end of the day, which is more can be said for the likes of Andy Carroll, who, yeah, he's notched pregnancies more than he's notched goals in recent times. So, yeah, over the moon that Dwight's back. He'll probably be back on the bench, you would say, against Leeds, and again get another maybe 20-30 minutes as he builds his fitness up to a full return. And it's exciting to think that you could have Dwight Gale, Callum Wilson up top, you've got Joe Linton, you've got ASM and Miggy, and the forgotten man Ryan Fraser to all add into the mix. If we can get everybody fit and firing, it could be a fantastic season. But yeah, just one final thing, big shout out to everybody who continues to support the podcast. You know, it means a lot. Every single listen, share, comment, it means a heck of a lot. We know we don't take anything at all for granted. As somebody lights me up, I've illuminated all of a sudden. I'll go back in the darkness now. But yeah, a big thank you to everybody. The page and everything as well continues to grow at a great rate. We're close to more landmarks. We know we're close to getting major step ups, and then we've got exciting plans for the short-term future, the medium, the long-term future as well. We're constantly looking to improve things. Some might say a light in the van. It could be a good idea, but you know, can't stop graft, can you? You can't stop graft. Anyway, I hope everybody is okay, taking care of one another. We've all seen it highlighted across social media, at the moment, that there's some hard times and tough times out there. If you are struggling, please, as I've said before on the podcast, get help, speak to people, speak to anyone at all, whether it's ourselves, somebody else, a professional organisation. Reach out, talk. All Newcastle supporters at the end of the day, and we all are there to look after one another. Anyway, take care. Hope you stay safe from all this COVID shit. Hopefully not too long until things start to go back to a little bit more normality. But, you know, we'll take it one game and one set of things at a time. Take care anyway. Keep it tuned. Switch on the lights. And I'll speak to you later.